Warning! Warning! I am an idiot. I'm just a guy in a pole barn. Get it? Pole barn garage. Anything I say to do, you do at your own risk. I'm just some dude. Let that be your disclaimer. Let's get on with the show. Welcome back. We are going to finish up our wiring, I think, or at least for the time being. This is like the most basic, wiring we could do. We can add things later on. Through the holidays and stuff, I haven't been super busy on it, but I have done a few things that I'll show you here in a minute. Let's get into it and see where we go next. So, just kind of here and there, like off camera and in my spare time, just been pushing and beating on this body, trying to get it pushed out, and I didn't really know where I was going, so I didn't really want to record it. I figured it would just be a lot of me fumbling around and not much going on. But I think we're on the right track now. You can tell that this has kind of got its shape back. And it actually moved so much that it's torn this filler panel out. We're going to have to fix that because otherwise that's going to rip off. Still got to push this lower part out. But I mean, all this was caved in about 4 inches. And at least it has the shape of a GTO again. We moved up both of the drip rails. It's quite a bit better. In fact, our deck lid actually fits more or less. So this side is really improved. I mean, relatively. But the porta power did wonders here. This is not the right shape of this, but it kind of works for what it is. So again, kind of push that lower part out. And I really want to push this door out, get that popped back out-ish. And but that's really about all I've done. Like I said, it's nothing big, just little things that I think down the road will make all the difference of either rolling pile of crap or really cool rolling pile of crap. So we're really in that home stretch of our wiring project here. And, with our instrument panel here has been pretty well done. And then the forward half of the car is about half done. We don't have really anything done on the rear of the car though, so I think that's where we'll start this time. Now on a GM car, you have a brake light switch, and this just mounts right on the brake pedal, and when you push, it's a normally open switch, and when you push the brake pedal, the plunger releases and the contacts make contact. There's 2 different kinds. Some of them are normally closed where that is making contact, but no, not on these. So we can demonstrate that. So you see here, we put her on the continuity test. Take your 2 probes and touch them. It's not making good contact. I wonder if the switch is bad. There we go. See that? The plunger is open right now. Push the plunger, breaks the circuit. That means the brake pedal is up, like you're not pressing the brakes. You're pressing them, boom, contact. And that's simple as that. Power comes in here, power goes out here. So I robbed this out of the farm truck out back, and I figured it didn't need it. And save me the $7 on a new one. I mean, come on. This should just slip right in. All the GM ones are pretty much the same. So we'll just run power into it, out of it, take it on back to the back of the car, and then we'll start thinking about how we're going to actually wire up some bulbs back there. So one beauty of this harness is that actually the wires aren't labeled fairly well. I mean, all jokes aside. I know I've shown some things that are like, okay. But really, I mean, if you just use a little common sense, it's not that hard to figure it out. So somewhere in here I know is one that's called, yeah, right there, brake switch. And we'll use that for our brake switch, and then we'll put power into the brake lights. There's the old one. It kind of gives you an idea how this works, since it's, an exploded view. So anyway, we'll just throw that away and install our new one, which on the GMs, you just shove them in, just like that, and they're retained. Push the brake, opens her up. Push the brake, opens her up. Man, those brakes are good. I cannot wait to drive this. There you go. Then we'll bring our power in, doop, and then we'll bring our power out. Doop. Here I go again on my own. Going down the only road I've never known. Never, I don't know. God, it's cold out here. It was 67 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's 5. I hate this. Somebody get me a ticket to Arizona or Florida or, God, anywhere but here. Anyway, that'll work right there. We'll run it to this one. There we go. Always give it your safety tug now. Looks pretty good. Look at our portable sun here. Oh, God. Oh, that feels so good. We're going to start from the back and run it to the front, and that way we don't have too much excess. So we'll just leave the spool back here. Find a hole. Oh, oopsies. Oh, God, man, I got to get in there to do that. I don't want to do that. What am I going to get into? There's no trunk. There. Yep. Oh. Need a new spleen after that. Let's pull her through here. Oh, you dirty. Alright, that's probably enough. Shoot on back in there and plug it in. Alright. Well, we're hooked up to the brake light switch. So, once again, since the tail lights and the brake light kind of go together, we're just gonna make sure we tie those together as they go back. It'll kind of help clean everything up too. Kind of like speaker wire if you run that. Not like that. We'll run it all the way back. And then I think the next thing we got to do is get under there and clean up a lot of this wire. Because those are all the circuits in the whole car. So that's done. So here's what we're going to do here to route our wires. Just take some of that kill mat like I showed you. We want to make sure it's attached down to the car. We don't want it wiggling around. Normally, if we had carpet or, you know, something, we could tuck it under there, and that would secure it, just like the factory did. But we, you know, don't have that luxury. What we'll do instead is just put a chunk of this every so often, just to kind of hold it up here, and then we'll, you know, just cover it up with the sill plate from the other side of the car, because it didn't fit over there anyway, so I figure why not. We don't want it wiggling around in there and getting rubbed and whatnot. A little bit of heat can really help this stuff lay out, especially when it's like 10 degrees outside. We just hit 2,000 subscribers, by the way. Thank you guys so much. It's an unbelievable amount of progress, I gotta say. I knew somewhere that, you know, people would really dig this, because I mean, I think I can comfortably say that I'm the only one doing this. But, you know how the interwebs work. You know, well, I don't know how the interwebs work, but maybe you do, and it seems hard for just a regular dude to, you know, unless you got lots of money, it seems kind of hard to get started. And thanks to you guys, we've been able to do this and grow. And not that it would make any difference, because, I mean, honestly, even if I had no subscribers, I'd still be doing this, because I think it's fun, you know? Even if I didn't think it was fun and worth a chuckle, well, I wouldn't do it. What's the point in doing something if you're not having fun with it? And anyway, that aside, thanks so much, guys. This car has been tickled a bit right here. That's solid Bondo. And, you know, I don't care, but that means things don't fit. And that means it was tickled a bit, you know, pretty shortly after new. Maybe why it didn't wound up here in the first place, you know. I think we'll put that one there. This here somewhere. God, freaking door is sharp. Right here, because that hole actually lines up still. We'll probably have to go fishing for the rest of them, but that's alright. No biggie. Wow, they kind of reattached the car up there. That'll keep us from kicking it, ripping it out of there. Now there you have it. You can tell that those are, you know, reasonably well hidden and secured. Went ahead and make another grommet out of that kill mat, of course. Coming on right around here. And just use the factory routing for it. Right out of there. This leaves us with, I should label these, but, you know, brakes, taillights, and that's all we need right now. I was looking at this factory wiring harness back here, and it's actually in pretty good shape on both sides. Like the sockets are there and everything. Oh, who knows? I think we'll just reuse that. Got to find taillight housings, though. I only have one. I know I've got to have more around here, but we'll go take a look and see what I can come up with. For now, let's clean up under the dash here and get all that tied up and get that spaghetti mess out of our way. Because that's it. I mean, I would like to put like a cigarette lighter in here. Having something to charge a phone with would be nice. We can add that later, and I'll show you what my plans are for leaving some spares in here. So, when you're done with the circuits you need, which for us was like, you know, 2, you are going to have, you know, a bowl of Lao mein here, literally. Don't just go hacking this off, because you might need this later on. You don't know what you're going to add. You might toss a sweet 8-track player in it, or, you know, who knows, you know, boombox, subwoofer things, or something, you know. So, I'll just take it and loop it all up as tight as I can, and just kind of stuff it up here in a corner. It's not, you know, the greatest thing to do with wires that are live. But, you know, we'll try to cap the ends of them with some wire nuts. But right now, I just want to figure out where I'm going to stuff this. And there's a pretty good hole right back behind here. And I think that will do the trick. I'll come up with something a little bit better than using wire nuts for that. I got this absolutely useless tiny heat shrink that is probably good for nothing else, but probably worked pretty good for capping off these things. Oh, yeah. You know, that might actually be the right way to do it. Well, just repeat that process 347 more times and we'll be done. Well, there's your bundle of wires there. I just zip tied them, you know, together in a bundle. And, you know, we'll just stick them up in there in this hole up here where I don't think they will get damaged. They should be able just to hang out there. And then we'll tie this up here, get that tucked up out of the way, and, you know, ignore that and just forget that for until we need it. By God, if we're hitting the road, we're on a road trip, and shoot, we just lost a circuit for some reason. Well, got about 10 more to pick from, so easy fix maybe down the road. So we need to cover this hole still, because, you know, that's not great. And I was just wondering, I was like, man, maybe I got like a mud flap or something I can cut up. No, the answer was right in front of my face. Right over here on this workbench, there's some floor mats or something, and yeah, we'll just use those. We'll just cut a square out of that and go screw it right over that. Heartbeat of America. Anybody else missed that? I remember that. Anyway, we'll take a chunk of the non-carpeted part of that. This will probably work. Oh yeah. New welcome mat. notch in it, it'll accomplish what we're trying to do, which is just keep most of the water out of there. Well, we can go ahead and, you know, finish off our dash in all of its luxury. We've got our lower dash piece here, and that just installs right up in here. So we'll go ahead and install that, toss the ashtray back in it, I guess, and that's 2 less parts that I got to be kicking around in my damn barn here. Alright, hopefully this fits around our custom gauge or toggle switch panel here. It probably won't. We'll make it fit. That's what you do. There's no such thing as giving up, you know, not doing something. It's just not an option. Actually, kind of, if I can just get it under there, actually fits really good. Yeah, I don't know, good enough for me. Oh, that's actually way off. Never mind, not good enough for me. Back these off just a smidge. Back. Oh, God, I hate this. There we go. There we go. Boy, that's the most effort I put into anything in this whole car. Oh, that looks nice. You know, in a relative way. That really finishes that off. Plus, you know, you got to have your little touches here. You know, put the original ashtray in. These ride on ball bearings, and I've kind of worked them to try to get them to work. They sort of do. But I have other ones, but it just wouldn't be right, you know. That'll work fine. Look at that. Just like the day she rolled off the assembly line, you know, and then was shot to death 5 years later. We could put our all original, practically new, freshly re-dyed kick panels in now. Very gently, mind you, because they're very fragile for some reason. Oh God, yep, well, so much for that one. Huh, it doesn't fit over here. There, car's like less likely to slice your carotid artery open. We'll shoot a screw into it and call it a day. Again, very, very carefully, because that's pretty brittle. But we can throw the other one in, and then we'll figure out how we're going to actually attach it. And I'd like to put the glove box in too. Slide this one in. This one's going to be even worse. This whole area here is just so jacked, man. For you guys that, you know, think I should restore this car, I guess if you see her around in person, you'll get what I'm after here, but there's no way. And it's not from being shot. It's, this thing was hit really, really hard at one time. I mean, this, nothing here is right at all. I mean, it's bad. Like, somebody died in this. I mean, and that's not from, you know, getting shot or pushed around or anything. That's a hard hit. So, I can't happen that way, you know. We can still have fun with the car. It's just not going to be restored, you know, and that's fine. I mean, how many restored cars are there? There's plenty of them, okay? I have 3 myself. I don't need another one. I need something fun to just jack around with, you know? Sure, yeah, that is nowhere near where it's supposed to be, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Perfect. Or whatever. Well, it's feeling quite luxurious in here. I don't know, I have a few things to put in there. Like, I have the lower dash piece and stuff too. Let's stay here for a minute and just do this. I gotta take a break from the wiring stuff. That was frying my brain. Just monotonous. Here's the A-pillar covers that were out of the car originally. Looks like that one didn't quite make it. few grazes in them. No bullet holes, really. Another graze right there. Too cool to just throw away. So I'm just going to sand them up and paint them. And while we're waiting on them to dry, we can install this splash shield. Goes behind the gas pedal and well, both pedals, I suppose, and use that. You know, it's got some life left in it, but I really wanted to use this glove box because it's just, well, terrible. I don't see how though. I mean, it's pretty wrecked, and if I tried to pop that plastic off, it's just going to disintegrate. So we'll hang that on the wall maybe, or maybe we'll give it away once we hit 10,000. So we'll use this one. This is out of my 72 a long time ago. I remember putting that sticker on it. They're the same door, and it's got the hinge and everything, so we'll just bolt that up there, and I think I have a latch somewhere. Lastly, I would really like to put this mirror in it, because how cool would that be? But obviously it's not much of a mirror any longer. So, ow, fuck, Jesus. Anyway, I think we can put some glass in that thing, and you know, maybe file off those sharp edges. But that would be kind of cool to reuse, I think. So we might do that too. But don't worry, we'll get back to the wiring and whatnot. But you know, sometimes you just got to take a break. And I know I've said this before, but that's how I operate, you know. I'm like a shotgun, you know, just blast everywhere, hit everything at once. But not too much, you know what I mean? Like, finish one thing, and then, all right, let's do something else for a minute, and then we'll come back and we'll really finish everything off. Some people, yeah, everybody works different. Here's my list that I'd made up for what I wanted to get done today. And you could tell that we're really, you know, working on it. Yeah. Well, this ought to give you an idea, smelling what I'm cooking. You know, just touch up the old rusty stuff, but don't fix it, you know? Leave it. And that's going to dry flat, and that's perfect because that's what it should be. Propane and propane accessories. Well, when you put your glove box in, the only thing that holds these guys in is just this little rod here. Just sits up in there. Put your hinge right there and just zip, zip, zip. Ah, ew. This is all crap out of my car from high school. It's not very good. It's kind of butchered up, but, you know, that's okay. It's perfect for this. There you have it, man. One semi-functional glove box. This thing completely disintegrated whenever I tried to put it in. But, you know, it does work for, you know, gloves and stuff. And it opens and shuts. That's cool. Man, if you look like right here, it's not bad at all. And then well, I've installed this, and I really wanted to take it out and, you know, make it look authentic, but it's actually a nice lower dash piece, and those are kind of, you know, pricey. So we won't do that. We'll just leave it. I compromised by leaving this 400-year-old duct tape residue on them, though. So that's a fair trade. Let's move on to doing, you know, that splash shield thing. Well, it's another day, another doll hair, as they say. And you can tell that these have turned out fairly nice, actually. They look just like they should, minus, you know, bulletproof material has been dented. Now we have a slight problem here. See, this A-pillar was, you know, not necessarily straight. And I kind of pounded it back out to where it sort of looks right, but it's not. See, that fits in there. It's not like, you know, that bad, right? Not bad at all. Let's take you around to the other side. See that? That's the direction it's supposed to go. And, well, as you can quite clearly see, it does not. So, what do I do here? Fix? No. Rig? Maybe. How? I can pretty much make this side look okay and the inside look bad. Or make inside look good and this look bad. Or not use it at all. Not sure. It's these little things that really throw you for a loop, you know, when you're performing a full restoration like this. You know, we want to keep it numbers matching. We need that numbers matching A-pillar cover. Otherwise, how are we going to roll this thing across Barrett-Jackson? Now we're cooking with fire. A few self-tappers, just self-aligned that. And, you know, we'll just fix this part with our trusty ball peen. This here is a brand new gas tank. However, it came with the filler neck broken off. So we got another one. This is for another project. But, you know, we got to keep this one. We couldn't just have it sitting around going to waste, you know what I mean? So I guess a more enterprising individual would probably say, yeah, you know, I could solder that back in there. However, you have seen my welding, and let me assure you that my soldering skills, at least when it comes to plumbing, are probably inferior to that. I cranked up the brain, and I figured there was really only one clear solution, and that's to use my all-time favorite multi-purpose tool, JB Weld. She says fuel and chemical resistant. I figured that'll probably work. I'm just gonna slather this sucker up in JB Weld and then just always go overboard. Don't half-ass it now. That's gotta be enough, right? Probably not. Let's give it more. That's probably way too much. Oh yeah. It is the next day and this is dried up. It seems pretty sturdy. It's not all the way dry. I can still put my nail in it. So we'll leave it. But I bet by tomorrow she's ready to go. I think it's time to get back to this. And for our headlights, the only thing we got to do is ground the other side of this wire, since we've already hooked that up in an earlier episode. Since I've put 2 high beam headlights in here, just for simplicity's sake, we'll just ground the other side of it. I mean, it's simple as that. One side's power, one side's ground. When you're trying to find a spot to ground something, make sure it's a good spot, you know. You want it something that's metal on metal, firmly connected. Nothing you would ever find on this car. And this is no doubt going to be an issue for us going forward. That's alright. We will just wing it, and I'm just going to land this and shoot it right there. But one thing I want to show you is before you go and ground something, strip some of the paint off. You don't got to strip it all off, just, you know, some. We put a pretty heavy layer of that tractor paint on here. That should work. We can test that in a moment, but I'm going to hook up the other side and we'll give it a shot. And on the second day, he said, "Let there be light." And this is the point where you know things are happening. It's a good feeling. And you can tell that they're adjusted real good. We got, you know, up and down. That way you're covered either way. I took a closer look at this wiring harness that was left in the car, and it's in really poor shape. It could be repaired, but for what we're doing, we don't need like 100% of it. So we'll just make our own. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. It's going to be kind of sketch. We will make something that will function. And so what I got here is a leftover lens from something. And I only have one. If you guys are watching this, I have a left-hand housing and a right-hand lens. Now I need a right-hand one of these housings and a left-hand lens. If you guys are watching, want to sell one, just email me, DaleTheStockCarDriver@gmail.com, or DM me on Instagram, Pole Barn Garage, and I'd like to buy one from you if I can, because I thought I had more, but I don't. So I built a dozen of these exact cars, much nicer than this one, but that left me with a lot of extra parts, but apparently not enough. So anyway, what we're going to do, we are not going to worry about backup lights. We're not going to worry about turn signals. We're not going to worry about the license plate light. Like, that's all optional as far as I'm concerned. So what I've done here is I have a bunch of plugs here. I cut these anytime I part a car out. If these are good, I just save them. And I have one brand new one here. Save these things. They're invaluable. They're like $10 a pop if you go to buy them new. Most of the time, you can clean them right up with a piece of sandpaper. Kind of get a general layout of what we got going on here. We kind of stick that like this. And then this is the backup light hole. So we're only worried about these two. So we'll just put 2 plugs in here. Because on these cars, it's really, really hard to get in between the bumper and the tail panel of the car. And it's a lot harder when the car is smushed up like a soda can. So what we're going to try to do, we want to make sure our wire lengths are about the right, where we need them to be. What you got here is a side marker light here, which again, I normally wouldn't worry about, except for I want it to light up so it looks cool at nighttime. You got grounds on each one of these GM style ones. Not all makes do this. Some of them just ground right to the socket if they're in a metal housing. But these are nice enough, thankfully, to include a separate ground wire, which really improves the reliability of them. So basically what we're going to do is just daisy chain all these grounds together. And then we'll bring one long one out, however long we figure we need it, to bring it up into the trunk and ground it somewhere. And then same goes for here. We're going to choose 2 of these, say these 2, to be our brake lights, and 2 to be our tail lights when the headlights are on, running lights. And then we'll do that, and we'll bring them out, label them, and then we'll attempt to make some kind of a loom, to put this wiring in. This will be a little bit of a project, but I think the end result will be better than trying to patch up that old, it was all rusted and stuff. Would have just been headaches down the road. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to use this white wire as our ground, because we want to be migrating this way towards the middle of the car. So we're just going to put a little piece in here. Crimp, safety tug, just leave some slack and everything, let it hang out, chill, Make a note to remind ourselves that this is earth. What we're going to use is our sheathing for our wiring is this crappy sewage pipe looking stuff that crappy wiring harness came with, and it works okay. Just bear in mind that it has a tendency to like pop back apart. I think you've all probably seen it, but you just clip it over the wire and it kind of sits on them. I just take a piece of tape and just put a piece of tape around each end of it just to make sure it stays closed up. Can you smell what I'm cooking? It's not bad looking. Not bad at all for homegrown. Anyway, let's go ahead and we'll just put it in there, and then we can figure out how long our wire really needs to be so we can cut the rest of that sheathing off. We got her coming out of the factory hole here, and we're just going to kind of eyeball how much of this we can leave on there. That leaves us plenty to do the other side. Pretty dang good, man, let me tell you. Not bad at all. I do plan on driving this bad boy, whether you believe it or not, I tell you. So let's run it over. White is our ground. Right there in the middle. So we'll just let him lay for a minute. We need this guy to go pretty much all the way over there. And the same with our red. Man, it'd be really convenient if there was a trunk there. Same with the red, pretty much all the way over there. In fact, I'll probably leave them for now because I don't know exactly what we'll have going on here. We're done with that one, more or less. So again, we're just gonna kind of eyeball where it needs to be back here. So it's now as easy as hook that up, ground it, which we can actually reach one of the grounds, so that's cool. That's it, man. All right, so this is our passenger side here, and we're gonna run it behind the latch, just like the factory did. This is made infinitely easier because we're not using turn signals, but they won't be too hard to put in later on if we want to, which I don't. So I don't foresee that happening. The police might have a different opinion, but. So this is exactly what I was concerned about with the grounding of this car. You can see the headlights are on, dash lights are on, and we got a whole lot of nothing back here. Also, I'm dumb and I put a single element socket on that, so I got to redo that. But you can see that nothing is on back here, right? So it's grounded. You know, it's grounded right to where the factory grounds them. As soon as I touch it, straight to the battery, grounds no problem. So we've got issues with that for sure. And I think I'm gonna try to just correct it by running right from here to the battery. There's just, this car is so perforated, I guess would be the word for it. There we go. We've got our driving lights at least. We don't have no brake lights, but that socket doesn't even have a bulb in it. And that one, I'm assuming the bulb's bad. They're just a bunch of old ones I had laying around. I'll go buy new ones and we'll toss them in and see if that, you know, tells us what's going on. I just ran that, put a new bolt in it. Seemed to take care of the problem. Doesn't seem to be getting hot or anything, so should be okay. Started tying up this wiring here. Do the same here. But you get the picture. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. I'm about sick of wiring, and we can call it good for now. I'll fix a couple little things that we screwed up, but it's no big deal. Well, what should we move on to next? I mean, I got this whole pile of suspension parts over here, and I know everybody wants to hear it run, so we can put the fuel tank in and blow all that out, blow the lines out, and, you know, plumb it and see what happens with it. You know, let me know in the comments what you want to see next. And, you know, if I haven't already done it, then, you know, we can try it out. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing to all the videos. It's made a tremendous impact. It really has. The car's getting around. People are really digging it, and that's cool, I think. I mean, we can really, you know, change the mindset of the average hot rodder with this pile, I think. You know, you don't have to be perfect to be cool. So, anyway, I just want to thank you guys for subscribing and being here and watching my stuff. I love it. I love talking to you guys. Comment whatever you think down below. I respond to every single one of them if I can. And I can usually. I mean, I like to. So, other than that, hit the bell thing so you see the videos when they pop up. I guess that's what that does. Who knew? And yeah, we'll see you next time. Let's get into something, you know, a little, I don't know, not wiring.